Title: Travis Kelce gets emotional crying. Tay says this during New Year's Eve date. The glitz and glamour of New Year's Eve in Times Square were undeniable. The lights sparkled, the crowd buzzed with anticipation, and the iconic ball shimmered in its lofty perch. But amidst the chaos, all Travis Kelce could focus on was the woman standing by his side, Taylor Swift. Taylor had meticulously planned their evening to be both private and meaningful. After performing a surprise duet at a nearby charity gala, she whisked Travis away to an intimate rooftop setting overlooking the dazzling festivities. The rooftop was decorated with soft fairy lights, a crackling fireplace, and a playlist of Taylor's acoustic renditions humming softly in the background. As the clock inched closer to midnight, Travis couldn't help but reflect on the whirlwind of their romance. Just a few months ago, he had nervously crafted a friendship bracelet in hopes of meeting her at a concert. Now, he was holding her hand under a sky filled with stars and fireworks. But tonight, something felt different. Taylor seemed quieter, her bright energy subdued by an air of contemplation. As they sipped their champagne, Travis finally mustered the courage to ask, "Is everything okay, Tay? You've been quieter than usual." She looked up at him, her blue eyes shimmering, not with tears of sadness, but a deep, heartfelt emotion. "I've been thinking a lot about what this year has meant to me," she began. "Meeting you, Travis, has been the most unexpected and beautiful part of my life." Travis felt a lump rise in his throat. He wasn't used to being this vulnerable, but Taylor had a way of peeling back his layers. "You've changed my life too, Tay," he said, his voice trembling. "I didn't know someone like you could make someone like me feel enough." Taylor placed her hand on his cheek, her touch as warm as the fireplace crackling behind them. "You've always been enough, Trav. And I need you to know that no matter how crazy our worlds get, you are my safe place." As the final seconds of the year ticked away, Travis felt his emotions swell. The man who had faced countless tackles and stood tall in roaring stadiums was now blinking back tears, overwhelmed by the simplicity of her words. The countdown began. 10, 9, 8, Taylor smiled, leaning closer to him. "I love you, Travis," she whispered softly, her voice carrying the weight of sincerity. He froze, his heart racing faster than it ever had on the field. The ball dropped, the crowd below erupted into cheers, but all Travis could hear was the echo of her words. "I love you too, Tay," he finally managed, his voice cracking with emotion. As the fireworks lit up the New York skyline, they sealed the moment with a kiss, one that spoke of promises, new beginnings, and a love that defied the odds. In that magical rooftop moment, surrounded by the world's celebration, they found their own little universe. A place where their story was just beginning. Title: Travis Kelce gets emotional crying. Tay says this during New Year's Eve date. As the clock ticked closer to midnight on New Year's Eve, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift sat on a private balcony overlooking the sparkling city lights. It had been a whirlwind year for both of them, but this night, surrounded by the warmth of each other's company, felt different. It felt like a new chapter was about to begin. Taylor was dressed in a shimmering, silver dress that reflected the city's lights, while Travis wore a tailored suit, his usually confident demeanor softened by the intimacy of the moment. The two had faced rumors, tabloids, and public scrutiny over the past few months, but tonight, it was just them, away from the cameras and the expectations. Taylor, sensing the change in the air, gently turned to Travis, her soft voice cutting through the silence. "You okay?" she asked, her eyes searching his face. Travis hesitated, his usual easy smile replaced by a look of vulnerability. He had never been one to show his emotions, especially not in public, but something about this night made everything feel different. The pressure of the spotlight, the relentless rumors, the expectations, it had all started to weigh on him more than he was willing to admit. "I don't know," Travis admitted, his voice low. "I'm just overwhelmed, I guess. It's been a crazy year. I've been so focused on being strong for everyone else, for you, for my team, for fans. But I don't always know how to take care of myself in all of it." Taylor's heart softened. She reached for his hand, squeezing it tightly. "Travis, I see you. All of you," she said, her voice filled with sincerity. "And it's okay to not always have it all together. I'm proud of who you are. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be real." The sincerity in her words hit Travis harder than he expected. He had spent so much of his life pushing down his emotions, trying to maintain the image of the confident, invincible athlete. But in this quiet moment with Taylor, he felt like he could finally exhale. "I don't know if I've ever had someone who just gets it," he said, his voice trembling slightly. You make me want to be better, not just for you, but for myself too. Taylor's eyes glistened as she leaned in closer, her voice soft but firm. You are better. You're already there. I believe in you, Travis. A tear slipped down his cheek, and he quickly wiped it away, embarrassed by the vulnerability he had just shown. But Taylor didn't pull away. Instead, she wrapped her arms around him, pulling him into a hug. For a moment, the world around them disappeared, leaving only the two of them in a quiet, peaceful embrace. As the countdown began, the final seconds ticking away toward midnight, Taylor looked up at him, her eyes full of affection. Happy New Year, Travis, she whispered. Let's make this one about us. About real moments, not the world's expectations. Travis smiled, his heart swelling with emotion. Happy New Year, Tay. I'm ready for whatever comes next. As the clock struck 12, they kissed, the world around them celebrating, but for those few seconds, it was just the two of them, a new year filled with promise and love. Title: Travis Kelce gets emotional crying. Tay says this during New Year's Eve date. It was New Year's Eve, and the glittering lights of New York City reflected the excitement in the air. The city's skyline was alive with color, and in the heart of it all, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift were enjoying a rare moment of quiet before the chaos of the countdown began. The couple had been through a whirlwind of media scrutiny, but tonight, they were just two people, together, ready to celebrate the new year. Travis had always been the confident, larger-than-life figure on the field. But there was something about tonight, something in the way the city felt, that made him more vulnerable than usual. As they sat at a quiet corner table in an upscale restaurant overlooking the glowing streets, Travis couldn't help but reflect on everything that had happened in the past year. It's been a crazy ride, huh? Travis said, his voice softer than usual as he toyed with his glass of champagne. Tay smiled, the warmth in her eyes matching the sparkle of the candlelight between them. Crazy is an understatement, she replied, gently placing her hand over his. But we made it through. And we're here, right now, together. Travis's heart swelled with emotion, the weight of their shared journey settling on him. It wasn't just the fame or the pressure of living up to the media's expectations. No, it was deeper than that. It was the genuine connection he had found with her, someone who understood the ups and downs of living under the spotlight. I've never been good at this, Travis admitted, his voice faltering. At being vulnerable, I mean. On the field, I know what to do. But with you, I don't know. You make me want to be better, but I also fear messing it up. I don't want to disappoint you. Tay's expression softened, and she reached across the table to gently hold both of his hands. Travis, you don't have to be perfect. You're not supposed to be. You're exactly who I need, exactly who I want. I've seen the way you care, the way you show up, and that's more than enough for me. You make me feel like I can be myself, without fear. The sincerity in her words caught him off guard, and before he knew it, a tear slipped down his cheek. It wasn't something Travis did often, showing this kind of raw emotion. But tonight, with the soft music playing and the world seemingly pausing around them, he couldn't hold it in. Tay reached up and gently wiped the tear from his cheek. I love you, Travis. I love you for everything you are, and everything you want to be. The words hit him like a wave, a flood of relief and gratitude rushing over him. As the clock ticked closer to midnight, Travis realized something. It wasn't just the promise of a new year that made him emotional. It was the understanding that he wasn't alone in this anymore. He had someone by his side who truly saw him. As the final seconds of the year approached, Tay leaned in and whispered softly, no matter what happens, this moment, this is real. You don't have to prove anything to me. Just be you. And in that moment, with the cheers of the crowd outside ringing in their ears, Travis Kelce understood something profound. Love was not about perfection. It was about embracing each other's flaws and growing together. That night, as the ball dropped in Times Square and the world celebrated, Travis and Tay shared a kiss, one filled with promises for the future, and the unspoken understanding that no matter what the next year brought, they would face it together.